Hello beautiful, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bettina and I'm the makeup enthusiast. In today's video, I'm sharing with you my June update on my Pan Those Eyeshadows project Pan. I have two rollouts again this month, so if you want to know what those shadows are and how I went with all my other shadows throughout June, then let's jump straight into it. And here is a photo of the color story that I was working on in July. So I have some more pans and I am so proud of myself. So we might start with the few that I am having a little bit of trouble with, or ones that I haven't really touched all that much over the past month. We'll start with my Certified Dynasty palette. In this palette, I am working on the color Glisten, and I have only used this another one time. A little bit shameful, which I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there, I promise. I have just been neglecting this shadow because I've purchased so many brand new like eyeshadow palettes over the past couple of months that when it comes to the weekend, I want to use like the new stuff, the new like fun colors, as opposed to ones like this. So I really need to pull my finger out and maybe even layer this over something just to get a use or so out of it. I'm hoping by next month that maybe I can be up to either 4 or 5 uses on it. Then we might actually see maybe a little bit more of a dip on it. I think once I get to like 5 uses, it'll be definitely obvious that I have at least used the eyeshadow. Another one that I used like bugger all this month is my Urban Decay Solstice eyeshadow. I will say I've only used this twice since rolling it in, but you can definitely see like where I've been putting my brush, I think. So you can kind of see like right here is a tiny little dip starting to show, which is really exciting. I think that going forward, at least for what are we going into? At least for July, I think I'll make some really decent progress on this one, because this will be like one of my go-to preferred shadows for work. So I think that I will make some decent progress over this next month, because last month I was focusing more on another shadow because I was really close to hitting pan on it. So I think this one will get a good dip by the next update, because I'll probably be able to get it up to maybe like 10, close to 15 uses, I think. And I think we'll see a really good dip on it if I am able to use it that many times. I was actually thinking today, I was like playing around with some of my individual single shadows like this. I'm thinking of maybe attempting to depot some of the ones, especially the ones that are in the little round compacts. I'm thinking I might attempt to depot them and get them out and into a magnetic palette, because I think that I will use them more if they are in a like empty magnetic palette, because I'll be able to see them a lot easier. They won't be like hiding in amongst the back depths of my drawers. They'll be more like in the forefront. You might see this one next month in an empty like magnetic palette, depending on how brave I'm feeling. So I used that one twice. I also used this little guy in here twice. So I'm working on the color Plasma, which is the silver. So I've used this an additional 2 times this past month, which has taken me to a measly 3 uses. But you can see like a little bit of like agitation on the pan, some signs of wear. This one actually I have started to kind of top with other shadows. So for example, today on my inner corner, I'm actually wearing the color Plasma topped with the color that's on my lid. So it's kind of brightened the color up and made it stand out more as like an inner corner highlight. That's how I've been liking to use Plasma of late. I just need to maybe do a few more looks where it's kind of the star of the show, so I can actually use more of it than just like a tiny little bit on my inner corner. That way, if I use it in a couple more looks where it's the star of the show, I'll actually have a bit more of a dip on it, I think, because I'll be applying more product to my lid. So that one is at a total of 3 uses so far. Very pathetic, isn't it? But we can only do what we can do. Next are the shadows in my empty magnetic palette. I have 4 in here that I'm working on at the moment. We'll start off with my little Inglot shadow. This is 290. So this is 290. So this is like a pinky purpley color. I have used this an additional 4 times this past month. You can see like the tiniest little dip on it, but when I use this, I only use like quite a small amount. So it has a little bit of a dip on it. This shadow in particular, I find is very firmly pressed. So I think that it will be quite a high number before we start to see like a really noticeable dip on it, which is unfortunate for you guys because, you know, it's a little bit boring when you can't see a dip and you can't see the obvious signs of progress. But at the moment, like it's almost barely worn off the little texture imprint that's on the top of the pan when they press it. So hopefully next month we might have a little bit more use. So that one is sitting at 5 uses in total so far. Like I said, it's probably going to be maybe like 15 uses, I think, before we start to see a really noticeable dip in that shadow just because it's pressed so firmly. Next we have Makeup Geek Bitten. I used this one 6 times this past month, and you can see in the center of the pan there, you can see like the wear and agitation from where I've been putting my brush. And you know, it's a tiny little dip. It's nothing extraordinary, but it's a dip nonetheless. We're starting to see some movement. Maybe by the time we're hitting like 20 odd uses, I think this is going to be very similar to the other Makeup Geek shadows that I've panned of recent times, like Cocoa Bear, which I think was like up around the 60 odd uses before I hit pan. And especially because I only apply this like on the outer corner, it's going to be probably up around the 60 odd uses before I hit pan on this one, which is it's heartbreaking. It's stressful, but we will get there. We will definitely get there. Makeup Geek Bitten is sitting at 6 uses at the moment. And the last one that I need to update you on is my Inglot shadow in 330. This is the one that I use currently to set my eyeshadow primer. I have used this one 15 times, and I don't know whether you're going to be able to see, but we are starting to see a dip on this one. Hopefully next time, I think it will be like a really decent noticeable dip. Like if I can double it to 30 uses by the next update, I think we'll be seeing like a really noticeable obvious dip. And I think by the time I hit pan, the pan probably will be fairly big because I am using a fairly large fluffy brush when I use this one. So I'm very excited. I'm very excited to watch this one progress and see the pan eventually on that one. So for those of you that are playing at home, you can probably guess which ones I've managed to hit pan on. The first one being this guy right here that hung on for dear life. I managed to hit pan on this one after 55 uses. This is the Makeup Geek eyeshadow in the color Frappe, and I got a decent amount of pan on it actually. Like I'm really proud of myself for the size pan that I got. 55 uses is a ridiculously high number, but anyway, I got there eventually. That's why I'm like thinking that Bitten will probably take up around the 60 uses. So that's my first empty, or my first empty. That's my first pan that I'm rolling out. And then my second one comes from the Melt Rust palette. From this palette, I was working on the shadow Tarnish. To hit pan on Tarnish, it took me 21 uses, and that is it right there. It's actually, again, like a fairly decent amount of pan, I think. So I managed to hit pan on that one. I'm very excited. So this right here means that we get to roulette another shadow, and then to replace Frappe, I will pick that one out myself. I'll probably pick out another one of my Makeup Geek singles because I'm actually really enjoying seeing all of the pans in my Makeup Geek singles, and I think I wanted to hit like 6 or 8 and I'm getting quite close there. I think I need maybe like 1 or 2 more to hit 6. There's 125 palettes to choose from, and I will punch that into my random number generator. Okay, 93. Okay, so 93 is my Glamonatrix Cosmetics Sandra Rose palette, which is really exciting because I really like the Glamonatrix formula, but I haven't really used the palettes and the shadows that I have from Glamonatrix all that much. So I will grab that out, and it is like right here, so I don't even have to get up. So this palette is actually a little bit of a disaster. There are some shadows in here that have broken, so I don't want to tip it up if I can avoid it. I'll just have to take photos of it for you. For this palette, just because I want to, I guess, in a way, clean it up a little bit, I think I'm going to actually go with one of the colors that is broken, and maybe using up the broken bits, it might get the palette to settle down a little bit. I don't know if that's if that makes any sense. It just seems like such a shame to waste the shadows that are broken. Like maybe if I can get a little bit of use out of the shadows that are broken, I don't know, I can tip them out or something like that. If I don't decide that I don't like those shadows, I can tip them out of the palette. Otherwise, I can continue to just try and use the broken bits up, and I might get to the point where it's not like a total mess anymore. So I'm actually going to go with the color Petal, which is the one up in the top corner here. I will take a photo of it. You guys will see this palette in an absolute mess, but hopefully over the next month, if I use up the bits that are kind of broken on the top here, I might get my spatula out and at least like just break up the chunks, the broken chunks a little bit. It might start to look a little bit neater, this palette, as I go through. So that's the color that I'm going to roll in. It is a matte shadow, and it is kind of like a, it's kind of like a pinky mauvey color. It's like a light pinky mauve color. I think it will go really nicely, especially with like that deeper pink that I have, and it'll probably go really nicely with the Solstice eyeshadow as well. That's the color there. I might roll in another shimmer just so I have something to break up what I've got going on here, because I've got 3 shimmers but only really one that I can wear to work. So I might grab out another shimmer that I can wear to work. Maybe if I go with a bronze color, like a brownie bronze color. So I grabbed out the Makeup Geek foiled eyeshadow in the color Grandstand. I'll give you a little bit of a swatchy-roo of it. So this is what it looks like. So it's just like a brownie bronzy coppery color. So I think that will be really nice to break up the pinkiness. And I would like to see how long it takes me to hit pan on one of the Makeup Geek shimmers. So that'll be a good test, and you know, multi-pronged approach. That's my update on my pan those eyeshadows. Here on the screen is a photo of the current color story that we are working on in July. I don't know whether I will hit pan on any shadows in July. You know, I might just surprise myself yet. I don't think where my shadows are currently sitting that there'll be any pan on any of these shadows over the next month. So it'll definitely be, I think, the month after, but I don't think I'll quite hit pan by the next update. Let me know down in the comments box how you're going on your eyeshadow panning projects. While you're down there, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. You can also subscribe to my channel. You can join my membership for extra perks and applaud this video if you like. That's it for this video, beautiful. I hope that you're having an absolutely fantastic day. I hope that you are staying safe and healthy and looking after yourself, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye, beautiful.